I've been saying this for a while, but WANO is the culmination of the Straw Hats' entire New World journey. Ever since they got to Punk Hazard, they set out on this new mission: defeat Kaido and take him down, and now it's happening. But along the way, there's been a bunch of twists and turns and different storylines getting involved and a bunch of new mysteries that have appeared into the story. So in this video, I'm gonna go through every single mystery that I feel like has to be answered by the end of WANO. And by everything, I mean everything I could think of, because I'm definitely gonna forget some. So I guess the only way for you to find out if I missed any is to watch this entire video and then comment below to let me know if I missed any. But without further ado, let's get started. I guess we could start with WANO itself because it is one of the most mysterious and interesting islands we've been to. It's separated into different regions, but each of these regions are also separated by water. It kind of looks like a dumb kid trying to put together a puzzle. What's even weirder is the fact that each of these have different weather patterns as well. The flower capital is like spring, Hakamai is like autumn, Ringo is like winter. The only one that had that was Punk Hazard, and the only reason for that was Aokiji and Akainu blew their load. But yeah, Wano's pretty much the only island we've seen that has different weather patterns on the same exact island, and besides that, there's these crazy ass waterfalls that are flowing down from within the country that has freshwater fishes getting into it, and it's really hard to get onto Wano because of that reason. So what exactly is this all about? Why is Wano like this? Is it just because it's a weird island in the Grand Line, or is there something deeper to it? A theory a lot of people have mentioned is the possibility that Wano is actually one of the islands created by those actual ancient giants that used to just pull islands together. So we'll just have to wait and see if any of that is true. Speaking of ancient giants, how about that giant ass skull called Onigishima right now that is serving as like land right now? Is that an actual skull of an ancient giant, or is that some sort of like human creation? There's definitely a lot of history and lore to Onigishima. Marco had that line of, oh, they're calling it Onigishima now, hinting that it was called something previously. Sasaki also noted that one of the trees was called the sacred tree, so there's a lot of little hints being dropped here and we need to find out more. But beyond just the weird geography, Wano also is a place with a lot of interesting history. It's been isolated for hundreds and hundreds of years, but why? Like, we know that it was kind of to protect Wano from the outside world, but is that the world government? Was that something else? Wano definitely has a lot of connection to the Void Century and all that information, so any bit of information we get about Wano's history and why they closed their borders in the first place is going to be huge information. All we could do right now is speculate. We think that the Kozuki clan is probably connected to the Great Kingdom and was an ally, but we really don't know at this point. Also, the plan right now is to open Wano's borders, but what exactly does that mean? Are you simply just going to allow more access to that gondola that takes people up from underneath and let people leave the country? Or is it something to do to like actually changing the physical landscape of Wano to make it easier to enter and leave? Also, like, what's the foreign policy going to be? Who's going to be allowed in? I'm sure a lot of different people, pirates, the world government, they're all going to want in on Wano's materials. And of course, this question ties into who will be the shogun of Wano, which we will address a little later. But yeah, the future of Wano is a big mystery at this point. There's also the connection of the dawn of the new world that everybody keeps on talking about, but we don't know what it is. Pedro kept bringing it up. That was like his thing. He just kept talking about the dawn of the new world until he died and blew up. Yamato just mentioned it recently as well, so there's definitely something there that needs to be kind of explained, and that could be potentially leading to the Straw Hats' next mission and what they do. But on the topic of the Void Century and all that information, let's talk about the poneglyphs, because the Kozuki clan, as we found out, were the ones that made the poneglyphs. So hopefully we could get some information on that, like how did they make these poneglyphs, why exactly? I'm sure we're not gonna get all of it because it's gonna reveal everything, but maybe just a little bit. Some like old head in Wano could kind of explain, oh, this was the history, this has been passed down, this is why the Kozuki clan made the poneglyphs, and just give us some sort of little information, a little glimpse into some endgame information. But on top of that, by the end of Wano, we should have access to a lot of poneglyph information that Robin can decipher. First off, if the Straw Hats win this war and defeat Big Mom and Kaido, which I'm expecting them to do, they should have access to 3 road poneglyphs. They still don't have the 4th one to pinpoint exactly where Laugh Tale is, but by real world logic, you should be able to figure out exactly where that center point is with just 3 road poneglyphs. I don't know exactly how that works, but I saw it on Reddit, so it must be true. But yeah, after this war is over, we should see a lot of Nami and Robin tag teaming, pause, so they could try to decipher these road poneglyphs and figure out exactly where to go next. But even beyond these road poneglyphs, the Straw Hats should have 4 more poneglyphs to decipher. We still have another 2 that Brook stole from Big Mom's territory, one of which Jinbei actually got, so that's pretty unique. And now on top of that, we have another poneglyph in Orochi's basement that Brook saw as well, well, and then the one that Law just found recently. So yeah, that's a lot of information, and we all know Robin's gonna read it and be like, oh, okay, that's pretty interesting. Peace out, see you guys later. You're not gonna find out a damn thing. But please, Robin, just a little something. I just need a little bit. And maybe if you wanna be really nice, you could tell us about that poneglyph in Alabasta, which probably had information on the ancient weapon Pluton. So if you wanna let us know that, that'd be cool too. But yeah, overall, there's gonna be a lot of information available to the Straw Hats after Wano, and hopefully we can find out some of that. But next, let's talk about one of the most mysterious characters in Wano right now. Somebody so mysterious, they don't even know who they are. And that, of course, is Yamato, who became one of the most interesting characters the moment she was introduced. Every single chapter with her, it was like a new mystery, a new question that we had. First off, it was like, oh, Kaido's son? Nope, Kaido's daughter. Okay, then who's the mom? How did this happen? Is she adopted? If she is Kaido's biological kid, then what's her race? She looks pretty human. She looks like Nami with horns and weird ass hands. But as we know, Kaido is a creature, so what exactly is Yamato? And also, like, who's the mom? Who got freaky with Kaido to create Yamato? And if she's not his biological kid, then like, where did he pick up this random kid from? And last chapter, we saw her starting to transform and growing out these teeth, and Sasaki started sharding. But of course, Hacha and Frankie showed up, so we never got to see it. So now it's like, okay, is that part of her like actual race of being like an Oni or a demon or something like that? Or is it a devil fruit? And if it is a devil fruit, is it a mythical zone like a dragon or a western dragon, or is it like an ancient zone or some sort? So just with her biology alone, there's a lot of questions. On top of that though, she's an incredibly interesting character. This is the kid of Kaido. I want to know their history, how she grew up. Like, we know she got handcuffed and trapped on Onigishima eventually because she wanted to become Odin. But what is that relationship really like? Like, why is she rebelling him? Is there some like other influence that really made her do that? Was it just Odin? Because that doesn't make a lot of sense in my opinion. She's 28 years old, so there's a lot to her life, and there's a lot of blanks in there that needs to be filled out. And honestly, that was part of the reason I was so interested with her character, because I knew we were gonna get filled in with all those blanks because she's the kid of Kaido. When we get that Kaido backstory, we'll definitely get some of Yamato's backstory as well. On top of that, there's multiple other storylines tied to her as well. You got Odin's journal, which she kind of teased last chapter of like talking about the dawn of the new world with Momonosuke. But that journal potentially has some incredible, crazy information on there. If Odin really wrote about like Laugh Tale and the information there, which I personally think he didn't, but if he did, that's record-breaking stuff. But even if it doesn't have that, it should have a lot of different stuff in there. Like Odin, this is years upon years of his life documented in one journal that she's probably been reading over and over and over again for the past like 20 plus years that she's just been trapped on Onigashima. On top of that, there's that backstory with Ace and their relationship and how they met. We know they fought before, but also they turned into allies, I guess, because now she's kind of like waiting for Luffy. Like when she met Luffy, she's like, I've been waiting for you, the brother of Ace. That's got to get filled in, of course, but the big question that everybody is wondering right now is, will she become a Straw Hat? I'm hopeful. I think it's very possible, but we'll have to see. But on the topic of Ace, let's talk about Ace, because his journey in Wano is a complete mystery as well. We know he went to Wano, we know he met Tama, we know he met Yamato, and then he left. That's a lot of blanks in there, starting with the beginning. Why did he go to Wano? How did he get there? Was it simply random, or was it part of his goal of wanting to defeat all of the Yonko? And once he got to Wano, what exactly did he do? Because he saw Tama struggling and the hunger that the villagers were suffering through. Like, did he just sit back and not do anything? I don't think so. So he might have went and tried to attack Kaido and the Beast Pirates. And the other thing we have to think about is he definitely went to Onigashima because Yamato, as we found out, had these cuffs that would just blow her up if she left Onigashima. So Ace had to have gone to Onigashima to meet Yamato. What happened when he got there? I know Morge made his video about Ace being part of Kaido's crew temporarily, which honestly I felt like he just did that video a little too early when some of this evidence hasn't been out yet. But I actually think there's some possibility to that theory. I might do a video on this if you guys are interested, so let me know in the comments. But even like after Wano, did he not say anything about what was happening in Wano to Whitebeard and like Izo? If he did, then why didn't they go and do something about it? Maybe he was part of Kaido's crew for a while and then, you know, struck a deal of some sort of not to spill the beans. Could be possible. Ace's adventure in Wano is a complete mystery, and it was something like introduced. The first thing we got to Wano, we found out about it, or it was kind of brought back up again because we did know he was in Wano before. So I'm guessing it is going to be a storyline that definitely gets some shine and gets explained in detail. But yeah, Ace's adventures in Wano, definitely a big mystery. Another big mystery I might do a video on soon is Hitetsu and Tama. Recently I saw one of Randy Choi's chapter reviews, go check him out, he's terrific. But he brought up this idea of Tama being a Korazumi, and that really got me thinking on on this the past couple of days. And the more I think about it, the more it's starting to make sense because like, think about Hitetsu and Tama. What are they? They're not related. They're not family. She calls them master. So who exactly are Tama's parents and like why is Hitetsu looking after her? That's a question that needs to be answered. Also like why is Hitetsu wearing a mask? Is that just part of his like aesthetic? I don't think so. Could it potentially have something to do with him working at the Shogun Castle before? Because we do know he's a Kokeshi doll collector and Brook did find a basement full of Kokeshi dolls. On top of that, X-Drake attacking Amigasa village. Why? Why was he sent to attack that village specifically? Like, bringing out the Tobiropo, that's a big deal. And would X-Drake, even though he's undercover as a pirate, as a member of Sword in Kaido's crew, would he go as far to just tear down this village and kind of put himself in an irredeemable place? But at the same time, like, Tama and Hitetsu were still fine, so he didn't completely destroy the village. So maybe he was sent to kill Hitetsu and he lied about it, and maybe that's why Queen became onto him later on. A lot of possibilities, so let me know if you want a video on this as well. I've been thinking a lot about it. But even beyond the Tama relationship, Hitetsu has a lot more to offer as well. He's the descendant of the swordsmiths that created the Kitetsu blades. Now, as far as we know, they are cursed blades, but there's gotta be more to it. Why are they cursed blades in the first place? Why did they even make those blades? On top of that, the Nidai Kitetsu, it's gotta be used by somebody. It can't just be a prop. Most likely it's going to Zoro, but we'll have to see. And speaking of Zoro, there's a lot we need to see from him as well. One of the biggest reveals about Zoro actually came in the SBS recently, where Oda revealed that Shimotsuki Kozaburo is actually the father of Koshiro and the grandfather of Kuina. He was actually the old man Zoro was referring to when he was talking to Momonosuke and the guy that Zoro learned Snatch from. And for those of you that don't remember, Kozaburo was the legendary swordsmith that made the Wado Ichimonji and Enma, but he departed Wano 50 years ago, and Oda actually revealed he went to the East Blue and made the Shimotsuki village, Zoro's village. That seems like a pretty big thing to reveal in SBS when Wano is still occurring, so I feel like this definitely has to get readdressed in the main story. Like if Zoro never finds this out, that would be kind of disappointing. So I feel like there's gotta be some reveals about Zoro's lineage and if he's at all connected to the Shimotsuki clan. I personally don't think so. I think the fact that he was revealed to be a Roronoa so early on, like his full name was introduced right away, I think that makes him a Roronoa for certain, but he could definitely be a distant relative to the Shimotsuki clan or something like that. But on top of that, we need to see more fighting from Zoro. We need to see him in a desperate tough fight like all of his fights in pre-time skip. Push Zoro to his limits and really showcase what he's capable of and give us some of those flashbacks like those Rayleigh and Luffy flashbacks but with Mihawk and Zoro. Armament Haki can't be the only thing that he learned during the time skip. Just off the top of my head, a few things we need to see. Ashura, how exactly did Zoro upgrade that? Did he come to a better understanding of that? That scar on his eye, even though I think it's just a normal scar, please, you gotta explain that. You can't just leave that up to interpretation so people are thinking like, oh, Zoro's gonna open in like unleash the Sharingan or something like that. But yeah, we need to see Zoro in some more action. And on top of that, I hope he gets more information on Black Blades as well. It was kind of just thrown in there very quickly when he was talking to Hitetsu about possibly upgrading Enma into a Black Blade. There's gotta be a little more to it. It's gotta be a little more clear, so as he continues to improve his haki, hopefully he can figure it out. Zoro will also need to visit the grave of Ryuma, which he would definitely do, which is another thing. Let's see more from Ryuma, like this crazy legend and all these things about him slaying a dragon. Like draw a panel or two of that, just a little bit. I know Ryuma's story was kind of showcased in this one shot called Monsters, but that came out 3 years before I was even born, so it's a little outdated. But enough about past legends, let's talk about current ones, and the big one that the Straw Hats have to win against right now is Kaido. And Kaido, just like Yamato, is full of mysteries. We don't even know what he is either. Is he a human, oni, demon, dragon, duck? Like what is he? How about his history and how he became a pirate? How exactly did he become an apprentice on the Rocks Pirates? And what was he like when he was younger as an apprentice? How did he interact with Rocks and Whitebeard and Big Mom? I know we're not gonna get a ton of information on the Rocks Pirates, but when we go into like Kaido flashbacks, I hope we get some of that. And on top of that, we know Kaido has been defeated 7 times, captured and tortured a whole bunch more, but like who? Who did that to him? How exactly did he survive and escape? Seeing seeing some of those scenes would absolutely be amazing, because we might see Kaido fight Roger or Whitebeard or some of the Marines like Garp and Son Goku, and then how exactly he survived and escaped, because we're seeing now he's not completely immune to damage, he's getting cut up and stuff, but he hasn't died. So that's the other question. Why is he immortal? There's been a lot of speculation about him being an experiment. Is that actually true? What is this interest he has in beasts and getting all these smile users? Why did he buy the numbers? Does he have some kind of connection to the ancient giants race? All these little things are definitely somehow connected. We just need to see that line connected off. And hopefully once we see all that, we'll get some better understanding on Kaido's character, what his real motivation is, why does he want to die, why does he want this crazy ass war, and also like even currently, what is his plan? Why is he teaming up with Big Mom to go get ancient weapons and take over the world? Lots of questions to be answered, so definitely comment below all your speculations on this. I'm interested to hear what you think. But next, let's talk about the other legend and the person partnered with Kaido right now, and that is Big Mom. And WANO obviously is not Big Mom's arc. She's kind of a side character, as we've seen. She's been kind of just been used as a gag all the time, but there's still a lot of mysteries in what her role is. Like, what exactly is her plan right now? She came to WANO to take down Luffy and chase after him, but then fought Kaido for a few days, and now all of a sudden they're partnered and looking for an ancient weapon. What is that ancient weapon? Do they know of one? What exactly is their plan to go get one? At the same time, we know she's gonna end up betraying him because it's Big Mom and Kaido. That alliance is not gonna work out. Plus, she told Perospero like, hey, don't worry about it. Trust me, I got a plan. What is that plan? When is she gonna actually enact her plan and betray Kaido? On top of that, she does have a leg up on him because of that certain favor that she did. Was it maybe her saving him when he was being experimented on or something? Something with the Rocks Pirates? Maybe she taught him how to be a man? Lots of questions with Big Mom as well, but the final thing really tied to her is what happened between her and Jinbei, because I honestly do not believe Jinbei left there with the Sun Pirates unscraped without any issues. That would really diminish the Big Mom Pirates, because they had her whole fleet and her herself there against just the Germa, the Sun Pirates, and Jinbei, and they all got out of there without issue. That's a pretty big smudge for the Big Mom Pirates. It would also kind of feel like Jinbei staying behind was kind of pointless, and it was just kind of a shuffling of characters that Oda did. I personally think the Sun Pirates might be mostly dead, but we'll have to see what happens there and if there are any consequences. Are you still with me? Because next we're talking about Marco the Phoenix and the Whitebeard Pirates. And this is one of the most interesting groups to me because I really feel like they're gonna be very involved in the next arc. Marco and Izo are the only ones here right now, and we're seeing them get a lot of shine. We're learning more about Marco's Devil Fruit and how it works, which is dope. Hopefully we get more. But what about the rest of the Whitebeard Pirates? We know that the remnants are kind of free to do whatever they want, but I want to know, like, where exactly are they? Just a little status update. I think it would be dope if they showed up here and helped, because I think the Straw Hats and the Alliance needs all the help that they could get, especially somebody like Vista. I think it will be very fitting, but even if they don't come, I think they have to show up later in the story, so getting a little update on them right now will be very useful. There's also somebody else that came with Marco and Izo that we don't know who it is. I honestly have not a good guess on this. Some people think it's Scopper. I think it might be Vista, but we'll just have to wait and see who that Pokemon is. Marco in general could just provide a lot of information. Like, first off, like, why is he here late? What is going on in Sphinx Island? Is somebody else guarding that? Because Weevil is still a problem. Is it simply because that Weevil is fighting the Marines right now? Did he possibly get defeated? There's gotta be a reason that Marco is able to come now as well that we need to find out. On top of that, Marco could fill in a lot of information about Ace and what he told the Whitebeard Pirates, and why exactly the Whitebeard Pirates, specifically Izo, didn't go back to Wano and help Oden. Did they not know? And if not, did they not look hard enough? Or if they did know, why didn't they go? Marco could definitely fill in a lot of plot holes just by talking. Beyond that though, I really want to know what Marco's future role in the story is. Like, I don't think he's just gonna retire. I think he's definitely gonna play a bigger role at the end of the story, maybe in the next arc. The Weevil storyline, I think, has to be somehow tied back to the Straw Hats, and Marco's kind of that bridge, so maybe he gets involved with the Straw Hats a little more after this arc. Maybe he has some information on Blackbeard or another road poneglyph. Either way, I just want to see more of Marco and the Whitebeard Pirates. But speaking of somebody like Weevil, there's a lot happening outside of Wano as well that we kind of need answers to by the end of Wano, and mostly all those things are due to to the effect of the revelry that took place. Now, breaking down all this information could be another video in itself, but I'm gonna do my best to give you a Spark Notes version of it here. I think the main things we need to find out is what happened to Sabo. As far as we saw, he went to Marijois to try to save Kuma and wage war on the world government, and then later on we see everybody's reaction, like terrified of whatever happened to Sabo, so something bad happened to him supposedly. Juri Bani was also at the revelry. She was also trying to free Kuma, so first off, did they succeed in like helping free Kuma? Is he free? Is he good to go? Or is he still a slave and they failed? Maybe we'll get a little bit of information on Bani, but I don't think we'll get that right now. Something bad also probably happened to Alabasta because Garp told Neptune like, hey, don't judge us humans for what is happening in Alabasta right now. So is like Cobra dead? That man's had death flags ever since he was introduced. If he is, like what is going on with Vivi? The girls are talking about a purge, so maybe something's going on in Alabasta. Maybe Vivi now has to go and travel out to sea and perhaps return to the Straw Hats again. On top of that, there's Vegapunk's SSG unit, which kind of replaces the Warlord system, so it'd be kind of good to get a glimpse of how strong that unit is to be able to replace all these crazy ass warlords. And of course, the big thing we recently saw was Morgan's printing out newspapers with the headline of a fatality and an attempted assassination. Wapol is also trying to tip him off about something. I'm sure all these things are connected, but we need some answers to this. By the time Wano is over, everything's settled down, we should be able to read the paper ourselves and figure out what's actually happening. Let me know if you want me to do a full video on the revelry and all its after effects, because there's a lot to break down there and Otis just straight teasing us over and over and over again. But while we're on the topic of the government, there's a lot of mysteries with them right now as well. Let's start with the Marines, who we recently found out had a secret division in Sword that Drake and Kobe are part of. So like, first off, what is Sword? What is their purpose? Like, is it just a secret undercover unit of the Marines, or is it led by somebody else to try and go against the world government? And like, who else is in it? Is Aokiji one of them? Garp, Sengoku, Akainu? And what's their goal? What is X-Drake doing in Kaido's crew right now? He did free Law from jail, which definitely had a purpose to it, so what is that all about? Maybe Law is actually Sword. I'll save that for another video. Someone else mentioned in my community post, by the way, thank you all that commented, you definitely helped me a lot with making this video, but somebody else mentioned Drake's crew and what they look like, which very interesting topic. Like, is he like, are those all actually Marines as well, or did he go and make a bunch of crew members that just don't know that he's actually a Marine? Incredibly interesting thing that I don't know, we'll see, but hopefully we do. But yeah, besides X-Drake, the Marines are up to a lot right now as well. Like Kobe, last time we saw, was going against Boa Hancock. Was he fighting by himself? If he is, I don't think he would have won, or those two came to like a mutual understanding of being like Luffy fangirl fanboys, or Boa could have just gotten really jealous and bodied Kobe, but we'll have to see what's going on there. The other Shichibukai as well, did the Marines actually just send a bunch of Marines to their death against Mihawk, or did an admiral actually go and fight him? And overall, did the Marines succeed at all in capturing any of the warlords, even somebody like Buggy? Meanwhile, in Marijois at the revelry, Green Bull and Fujitora clashed with some of the revolutionaries. I'm not expecting us to get a Green Bull reveal yet, but maybe some more information would be dope. But in that fight, the CP0 are also involved, another sector of the world government, and they are actually very relevant in Wano right now because they were trying to make deals with Orochi. And last we saw them, Orochi was literally asking for Vegapunk, so how did that deal end? Orochi is dead right now, but how did that negotiation end? Did they agree at all? Did they try to come to a middle ground, or did they just say screw off? And because they want the resources and weapons of Wano so much, will they come in like once this war is over and try to like forcibly take it and open up Wano's borders, very similar to like a real life situation of Japan's history? Could we possibly see Rob Lucci and Kaku and Spandam return to the story? Another thing we'll have to wait and see. But speaking about these negotiations, gotta talk about Orochi because I don't think he's dead. Sure, his death was very impactful, but I think there's a lot more things tied to his plan. Think about it, what was his plan? Was it really just to take over as Shogun and then just get women and be really happy and just see Wano go to ruin? I don't think so. Maybe that's his plan, but at least that old hag definitely had a grander plan to make things different for him. And I think his negotiation of trying to get Vegapunk kind of plays into that and foreshadows there being more to Orochi's plan. Recently, we did just see Fukurokuju walk away and Hote kind of noticed him, so maybe that is hinting at Orochi's return. I also think we need more story on the Korazumis and how that issue is going to be resolved after this war is over. They're going to have to be worked back into society, and learning more about Orochi and also Kanjuro, who I also don't think is dead, it's really going to fill in that story and lead to that resolution of the Korazumis being incorporated back in Wano without persecution. But enough about Orochi and the CP0. The most important person mentioned in those negotiations negotiations is Vegapunk. And Vegapunk honestly has had a lot of little ties to Wano overall. There's a lot of stuff linked back to Punk Hazard with the ancient giants and all those experiments. Of course, Orochi wanted him for some reason. He's also got this new SSG that he could potentially show off. A lot of people have guessed that Vegapunk is the big reveal at chapter 1000, which I honestly feel like would be very fitting. He's been a pretty big character throughout the entire story. And as we know, Tashigi and Smoker went to him to kind of cure the illnesses of those giant kids. So if Tashigi is with him right now, I feel like he's almost certainly coming to Wano because Tashigi has to come to Wano. It'd be a sin. It would be a sin if Tashigi doesn't arrive in Wano and see all these swordsmen and swordsmiths and all that. She would be nerding out all day. But yeah, Vegapunk I do feel like has a role and connection in Wano, but we'll have to wait and see. A lot of waiting and seeing in Wano so far, but I think it's gonna pay off. It's been kind of slow, this build up, but by the end of Wano, when we're getting all this information, it's gonna be well worth it in my opinion. But don't worry, we're not out of mysteries yet. We still got more. How about Momonosuke? What is that artificial dragon fruit? Another thing tied to Vegapunk? It is not a smile devil fruit. It was an artificial fruit created by Vegapunk. So does it actually have some strong powers to it that needs to be awakened? It looks eerily similar to Kaido's fruit. I don't know if there's something there as well. But if that's not something, then how about Zunisha, which Momonosuke can control? And he did stay behind in Zou to kind of communicate with Zunisha and figure it out a little more. So was he not able to figure it out, or is Zunisha pulling up right now and about to do some damage later in the story? I'm still holding on hope that we see that giant ass elephant pick up that giant ass sword and swing it. And of course the final question with Momonosuke is, will he be the Shogun or will he be a Straw Hat? I'm slowly opening up to Momonosuke. We'll just have to see how he performs in Wano. But how about Momonosuke's mom Toki? Is she actually dead? We would think yes, because she was kind of giving a speech in the middle of a fire and all these beast pirates are coming closer. But like, was her plan really just to sacrifice herself? Because if we think about it, she sends Momonosuke into the future with a bunch of scabbards. Then Hiyori goes with Kawamatsu and she darts out the front with a horse and cloak. So kinda she was sacrificing herself to be a distraction, but I feel like by then both of the other parties were already escaped. So was she just done with it? Like, I lived a great life with Odin, I got a great family, Odin died, it's now my time to die as well? Or is she still possibly alive? Because there are some things that pretty much only Toki can explain. Like, where is she actually from? Why did she jump into Wano in the first place? Why was it 20 years that the scabbards and Momo had to jump? I guess those things could be explained by Odin's journal and poneglyphs, but maybe Toki is still alive. And if she's not, we need to find out where that fruit is, because very broken fruit. But enough about the Kozuki clan, let's talk about the Beast Pirates. King, Queen, the numbers, the Tobiropo, there's so much more to learn about them. First off, King is part of this special race that Big Mom is interested in. He's also got wings and fire growing out of his head. He's got a mask on, so very mysterious person. His clothes look like they're from Impel Down. Is there a connection there? Also, like, how did he get on Kaido's crew in the first place? He's been around for a long time. Queen as well, how did he get on Kaido's crew? Last chapter, he also mentioned like a connection to Vince Smoke Judge. Is that actually something, or does he just know Judge by clout? The numbers obviously have that connection to the ancient giant race, which hopefully we'll find out more about. And then the Tobiropo, all very interesting people as well. I want to know like their backstory and how they ended up on this crew. Sasaki in particular, is that Kokoro theory actually true? The Beast Pirates aren't like the Big Mom Pirates where they're just all her kids and have been with her since the beginning. There's a lot more history to the Beast Pirates and I want to know. But how about the neglected kid? We found out a lot of mysteries about his new world journey as well. He lost an arm against Shanks, and then he was also starting that alliance to go up against Shanks. He also went into Big Mom's territory and stole something. I don't know if we'll get information on all of that, but I feel like the Shanks stuff will definitely get some of. On top of that, there's the mystery of the very interesting Caribou. I feel like Caribou has a bigger role in this war as well. Where is he? Is he gonna show up? Or if he's still just a scumbag and he left, he still has that massive information about Shirahoshi being an ancient weapon, so if he gets captured by somebody like Blackbeard, that's a big deal. Another thing we can't forget about Basho Hawkins and all his predictions. I think he was talking about Luffy's survival rate in a month being 16%, and then recently he looked at somebody else, said they only have a 1% chance of surviving the night. What are those things setting up? And then on top of that, after Wano, there's a plethora of questions that has to be answered as well. The Straw Hats new bounties, all of the Beast Pirates bounties, all of the Shichibukai bounties. Maybe the Supernova will get new bounties. After Wano, are there still gonna be the Yonko system? If so, who? Where are the Straw Hats gonna go next? Where is Law gonna go next now he's got a new purpose? Find out next time in One Piece Z. But yeah, those are all the mysteries that I could think of that need to be answered by the end of Wano. This is like one of the longest videos I've made in a very long time. My voice is kind of gone. If you made it to the end here, congratulations. Let me know all your speculations down below, and if I missed anything, But of course, as always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please hit that like button. It helps a lot with the YouTube algorithm. If you want to keep up to date with this channel, you gotta hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to get notified. The King Pirates crew now over 7,720 members. If you want to interact with your fellow crewmates and make sure you don't miss live streams, the King Pirates Discord is linked in the description below. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm DKing4, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!